call this meeting of the County Commissioners to order. Please join us for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good to see you here. We will begin with the minutes from our February 20th meeting. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes as they stand?
I'll second it.
We've got a motion by Dale, second by Tracy, to approve the February 20 meeting minutes. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, Jane. Okay, first on our list today is maintenance Josh Jarboe. Josh, you got a 144 request?
Yes. So within the budget we have another full-time position that I would like to fill, and this is Austin Carr. He currently works at Wholesale Carpet, and he'd be a great addition to put on our team. With the mowing season right around the corner, we need another person. And we went long enough without, so.
Yeah.
Now this is a different Austin, right?
Right, yeah.
We had another Austin that worked here.
Yeah, I guess I couldn't stray away from that one.
Yeah. What's your pleasure?
I make a motion that we approve the hire of Austin Carr for the maintenance department.
Second. We have a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to approve the 144 request for the maintenance department for the hire of Austin Carr to start work on March the 18th at an annual salary of $33,200. Any further question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Very good.
All right.
You got anything else?
Yeah, so I don't know. I've been in contact with Dell a little bit about it, but the washer over at the jail, it had been down. It's up and going now, but in the meantime, while I was down for about 2 or 3 weeks, Nancy was going and doing laundry for us at the laundromat for over at the jail. She put in a lot of hours doing that, and it was the motherboard. Everybody blamed each other, so as far as the motherboard coming in, it was coming from Spain, and then FedEx lost it, and it was just a big mess. So I was going to get some numbers together, potentially getting another backup washer. Almost every facility that I'm aware of has at least 2 washers and 2 dryers, whereas we're running on 1 of each. And Nancy's actually in contact with a couple suppliers trying to get a quote. Obviously the one that we have right now is not in the question. I mean, it's about $17,000 for the one that we use currently. It's a 60-pound capacity. We would probably go with something a little cheaper. The laundromat, the ones they use, I think they're anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. Not as big as a load, but it will be able to withstand the chemicals that we use. So, but that's something that I'm looking into. So I will be coming probably back and asking, for approval of that one as well.
So we finally did get the parts fixed.
Yeah, it came in last week, the end of last week, I think Friday actually. The guy came in, put it on, everything fired right up, so it's running. But we spent $200 or something, and plus the time of her loading it up in the truck, taking it by herself, and it's a lot of laundry. She had 13 washing machines going at the same time down at the laundromat, so she was definitely busting butt.
Well, none of us like those inconveniences. If we just knew what part on that thing was gonna quit next, or ahead of time.
Yeah.
Well, if you get some quotes on that, bring them in to us,
Definitely will.
take a look at it.
And we did get the bypass filter for our water here in the courthouse. That did get installed, and it was amazing what we took out. Those socks are supposed to last 30 days, and we took them out after 6 hours, and it was completely black. So we've been switching it out about once a week since then, our waters. And that's the water that goes to our heating and cooling. So all of our VAVs throughout the courthouse was getting clogged up due to, we won't go into that because it was something that happened like when these units got installed in 2004. One company blames the other and says they didn't clean out the lines. So we're catching all the slag and all the buildup from then, plus what we've accumulated since then. So right now we are getting to a point where we're actually seeing some benefit. I don't know, all the offices are maintaining and actually producing more heat than they have since I've been here. So that's money well spent.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Anybody have anything for Josh? Thanks, Josh.
Yep.
IT, Michael King. Michael?
I was hoping to have the letter from the state ready to sign today, but I'll have to get you to sign it as soon as it comes in. But the state has given us a program called Know Before. It's a email training program to where we can send out videos. I have not been able to get it to work the last 6 or 7 months with our email, and it's kind of fallen by the wayside. But what it does, it sends out a video or a link, and I can do a little training video, and it's free right now from the state, so it doesn't cost us anything. But when they're renewing it this year, they're going to have a letter of consent, or what's it called, local consent agreement signed by the commissioners. And I sent the little, I signed, put the little intent thing saying that we would like to do it, but they have not sent the local agreement back to where I can have you guys sign it. So I would just like to get approval for that, us to do that. It's not going to cost us anything. It's just basically a free training resource that we can have, that we can use to basically train our users to not click on things and watch out for viruses. And it's got some other videos and stuff that we can use as well, other resources there. But like I said, it doesn't cost us anything. It's something the state's supplying. So
Know Before is a training tool?
yeah. That's KNOWBE and then the number 4.
And we have to sign an agreement with the state.
Yeah, this year they're wanting to have a local consent agreement is what they call it, an LCA. So they're supposed to send it back. They want to have it done by the 22nd of March, but they haven't sent the actual agreement back yet to have it, signed. So
Okay. What's your pleasure?
Have you seen anything to know what that is that he's talking about? No? It's from the state though, you're sure that's, okay. I'll second.
Yeah, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve our signing an agreement with the state on the Know Before program whenever it gets here. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
When you get that document, let our county attorney see it, make sure everything.
yeah, I'll get it right to Jeff and go from there.
Okay.
Anything else for me? That's the only thing I have for you guys.
I don't have anything.
I'll go
Thanks.
from there.
911 Director Kelly VanMeter.
Hi, guys. So I'm back with my 3 quotes. As I said the last time on the dispatch chairs, Thomas Shelby and Company, they bought out Concept Seating, Iron Horse, and Body Build. So the quotes have came from there with the different chairs that they do provide from those particular companies. The quotes that I do have, they are on a purchase basis, not a lease that I want to do with the other when I set the lease out. So these are just purchased items, which I'm noticing on the 3 quotes that they are a little bit, one chair is showing me at $27.64, another one's at $25.64, and there's another one that's $43.89 per chair. I'm getting 3 chairs for the $6,200 that I have in that lease. And within that lease, and it does say, they maintain those chairs. There's no other cost if something was to break. If I get a chair next week from them and it breaks the week after that, they will come and give me a free chair. So, there's always that great, no worrying that if the chair breaks, we'd have to pay other money to have them fix it. They just bring me a new one within that lease program. Now, I read these quotes here quickly today, and I don't see in the quotes that there is any, I'm looking here, making sure I'm right. I don't see any maintaining the maintenance. So I could ask if they would what maintenance would cost if we purchased the chairs. When we bought the chairs 11 years ago that we have that's breaking now, those came with an agreement that if we paid shipping and handling for the 10 years, that they would just send us the part. So we have replaced 2 hydraulics on both chairs. So 4 hydraulics have been sent to us with pay and shipping only. And we had to replace the handrest that just fell apart over the time, and we paid shipping and handling on that, not the part itself. I'm not saying that if we purchased that wouldn't be the same agreement. I don't really want to do that. Like I said, I'm really more for the rental or the lease agreement, just simply because we don't have to fool with finding somebody to replace that. I've had to track people down to replace the hydraulics because it's a big job. We're in there dispatching and we don't have time to hammer and nail the hydraulic back into the chair. So I've had to hunt people down. So it's just really nice that when you, on this lease agreement, that you have everything basically taken care of for you. No matter what, you don't have to worry about the chair being broke because they'll just come and replace it. So there, like I said, there is 3 quotes. And then I did get an email from Jeff here that said that he read over the lease agreement and that he did not have an issue with it. So from here on, it's kind of your approval now, or however we're going to do it, what you want me to do.
You probably don't have shipping in your lease either, right? They bring them?
They bring them,
That?
yes.
So there's another
And like when we
savings.
looked at the chairs, he brought his fleet down at no cost. He parked in the back parking lot and he had 9 chairs that he let us go through, and we could actually sit on them, look at them. He explained every brand of chair, what we would not want to get versus what we need to get for my department. And I like that too. So yes, they would deliver them that way. Again, this is the same Thomas Shelby and Company. This is the same company that we have the chairs that we currently have that we purchased 11 years ago from this company as well.
Remind me again what the lifetime of this lease agreement is.
It's 3 years,
Okay.
and all 3 of those years, every year, we get a new chair brought to us, and or if the chair breaks before that year's up, they'll still bring us a new chair. So there's really, you're pretty much open to not worrying about the chair breaking and you don't have another chair.
And that's the quote we got the last month. It was like 6,000.
It's 62. I thought I had the copy of that with me, and I must have left it over there today. 62 and
1,348.
Okay.
Okay.
And I know Wayne County does this. I'm not sure about another, like Rushville or those counties, but that's where I had heard, I talked to the director over there, and he said that he has done, this is his second time doing the lease. He loves it. Because you do have your variable types of people. You have tall, short, you know, thin, wide. I mean, I don't want to, you know, and it really takes a beating when they're 24/7, never empty. You know, we're not doing it for the comfort of the chair. We're doing it for the many types of bodies that come and go in the department that has to maintain.
And so really, these are the 3 chairs that are comparable to
Yes,
that, and these
yes.
would cost more than a
Right.
couple thousand
Well,
more.
yeah, and I noticed the one chair is 4,300, which it's kind of like, yeah, the weight is 400 pounds. It's a limit. Some of these are bariatric chairs. I mean, again, I'm not saying that on these purchases that we could not get some type of maintenance agreement. However, it's not going to beat the new chair deal. And I'm getting 3 chairs for the 6,200. Because I do have 3 stations. 2 of them are the working radio. The 3rd station has everything but the radio and 911 on it. So like for the eclipse time coming up, we can have 3 people in there manning with handheld radios on the 3rd station. So, you know, we needed the 3 instead of just the 2 behind there.
And the option that you're going for is the 400-pound rated chair.
Well, I think the one I'm going for is the 500 in the lease.
Okay.
500 plus.
It's the one Jane has.
Yeah, Jane has the
Jane
lease.
has the actual one
Okay.
she wants to go with.
That's the front page, I turned it to the signature page.
All right. I will ask this, Jane, since all 3 of these quotes come from the same company, does that satisfy State Board of Accounts?
I believe it does because it is actually for 3 different chairs, even though it's all from the same vendor.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was telling Jane. The vendor bought those chair, because there used to be a chair company called Concept Seating, and then Iron Horse, it was all, you know, but they merged and Thomas Shelby bought them all.
Okay. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of competition in that field.
I mean, I'm not going to tell you there's no chair company out there, but this is the main ones that are listed in these 3 quotes for the purchase and the rental agreement that they sent me. These are the ones that we've used all the time. The Concept Seating, Iron Horse, and then Thomas Shelby. We've always done that.
But you're actually getting 9 chairs for your 6,000.
Exactly, because in the 3, all the yeah, and it could be more. Like say that there's a defective chair and I have to call. Like I said, they deliver them and then a month later we got an issue. I'm not letting them get by with, hey, we need another chair. I mean, that's what I like too. I mean, and yeah. So you're correct, 9 chairs in that lease.
You do have it in the budget.
I do. I budgeted.
I'll move to approve the lease agreement.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve lease agreement between the county and Thomas Shelby and Company of St. Mary's, Ohio to supply chairs for 911 dispatch. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, then. There you go.
Thank you so much. You guys have a great day.
You have a date for delivery on these?
They said that the minute I submit the money, it'll be about a 3 to 4 week. Bring them over. If not, they could be sooner, but I'll submit that and then we'll get.
Okay,
The minute I get them, get over and sit down.
okay.
Everybody's invited to come set the chair.
APC Director Bill MacDaniel. Bill?
Two items, of course. There's the, continuation with the ordinance for the, for replacing the parking regulations. I know that there's actually some questions. So with way clocks ticking is what I recommend is that you vote no on what was recommended by the Area Plan Commission, and if you can get me all of your comments, so I can pull those together, and then I can have all those ready for the Area Plan Commission at the next meeting. And then I'll try to get the comments also at the time for what the city council has on them.
When is your next meeting?
Okay, it's was it fourth Monday of, okay, that's 25th, I think, something like that. What's the fourth Monday, fourth Thursday of the month.
Okay. So as long as we have our comments and things that you asked for before.
Yeah, so the sooner you can get those to me, the better, so I can then start, actually, that way I can actually get them into the proper locations, the comments within the document.
Okay.
That'd be the best way to go with it.
So today, what we need to do then is reject this one, because there's things in it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of questions still to have that the county commissioners have, and that then you need those taken into consideration when it goes back to the Area Plan Commission.
Okay. I'll make a motion then that we do reject this new parking ordinance, and we'll get together our comments and get it to you for the next meeting.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to reject and remand the proposed parking ordinance with commissioners' notes, questions, and objections, or whatever adjustments may need to be made. Any further question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, James.
So like I said, I have no problem with doing this because that's why this process exists.
Yeah. We'll get all of our comments to you in writing on this, Bill.
Beautiful. You can put them in the margins, you can give me a memo, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
As long as I get those. Now, the next item is the amendment to the county Area Plan Commission fee schedule. And so the main primary item with that is because, ever since, earlier in the year, last year, it's like I started realizing that there's I had potential problems with the actual Class 1 fee schedule. And what brought that to light, and this isn't for the benefit of Reed Hospital System, but it's something I had a concern to begin with. And the only other jurisdiction I came across that does it on square footage is Richmond. Pretty much every place else in the state of Indiana that I came across does it on a square footage basis. Now, a lot of jurisdictions, they do both based, we've just always done a master permit, which covers all the trades. A lot of jurisdictions use a separate permit for each trade. So, for an example, looking at Indianapolis, because they require a different permit for each trade. So, the example I have is with Reed. Okay, looking at hours, that would have been the starting point would have been around $135,000 permit fee. But Indianapolis, for the same project, basing it on square footage, Indianapolis is between $25,000 and $26,000. This would place a factor probably about 5 times more expensive in Fayette County than Indianapolis. And because I've talked in the past, I think it's also an equity thing, and it's also make things more attractive because there are some businesses that we could potentially chase away if we have kind of an outrageous fees. So the primary fees are, there's with the one the most recent one is that, also this one I included, that was already adopted with the home occupations. So I placed that in here because that was already adopted, but I never placed it in this ordinance. Okay, that's the main one for the three. So for the 3 different tiers of the home-based business. Okay, now then for the single-family residences. Okay, 2 primary things I did. Well, I added okay, I amended the expired permit renewal to have, instead of just a flat $25, but it would be, basically would be the base fee plus however many inspections remain. And that would allow one 12-month renewal. The primary ones are, of course, are the Class 1 occupancies. Based on the 3 of the different occupancies, it's the same base fee, but using a 0.025, so 25 cents per square foot. Now, that right there would put, to use the example with the Reed project, based on square footage rather than the, total cost of the project, it'd make it about a $25,000 fee, permit, $25,000 fee. So, like in my mind is that as I mentioned in the past, is that our fees really should, any fees really should reflect the actual cost of the service. And that would be more reasonable way to go about it. Now then, I did add 2 more things within the Class 1. There'd be a new one for Class 1 foundation release. And that would be $325, and that's based on the most expensive base fee that we have for structures. And then also an expired Class 1 renewal permit, and that would be the base fee for that particular one. So if the commissioners have questions or don't have any problem with this, or if there's some minor things, is if possible, if the commissioners could then go ahead and then schedule a public hearing on this for your next meeting. And that would give time to get the, meet the 10 days for the public notice requirements for the public hearing.
So, you decided now that basing these fees on a square footage basis is more fair and equitable?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, as you've heard me say in the past, is that the, 135,000, I mean, 5 times what Indian fee would be for Indianapolis is, in my mind, it's kind of ridiculous for Fayette County to have a fee structure like that. When it costs less to build something in Indianapolis, I think it's kind of a pause to me. But I think this is a reasonable route to go. And I know that Mr. Cook is here from Reed Hospital. He supports this. And I'll have another question also, because Reed is in the process of, I know they don't have the final design release for the actual structure itself. But Reed does have a design release for the foundation release. And I think that if the commissioners agree with this, but that in the meantime, so that they can get started, and $250 for the foundation release versus about $4,300. But I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. But if there's an idea, if this is acceptable to the commissioners, and you want to move forward with this and having a public hearing, we can do so. Then we can have the request from Mr. Cook.
Okay, what would be the earliest? We need to advertise a public hearing 10 days prior, right, Jane?
Yes.
Okay, so realistically,
Well, we've got the ordinance here, so.
pardon?
I mean, we've got the ordinance, and we have it in the format for an ordinance, so.
Yeah.
And once again, as anything else is, when it comes time with the public hearing, and you wish to amend, you can always amend also. Amend and then act.
So we need to approve this and then set
Well-
up a public hearing.
Yeah, if you're okay with this, then say you basically make a motion that you agree with, the proposed ordinances as proposed, and then to then set the date for the public hearing at the next county commissioners meeting.
then any changes can be made at the public hearing
Yes, that is correct.
against this ordinance.
Yeah. Yeah, because I know there's people been saying, well, they should have known what that was coming into it, and don't give them any breaks or anything else. Like I said, this isn't about Reed. This is about the future, going well into the future with this. Because we're trying to attract businesses, just like some of the changes we had in the parking regulations. So you don't want to milk someone just because you can.
When was the last ordinance done for fees?
Okay, this was adopted in 2021.
Okay, so it's not been too long.
Yeah, so, and I think this is a better route with going with the class 1 rather than adopting some kind of ceiling. And as per the question that Mr. Westling brought up, is going back into the ordinance, is we actually have something separate, say, for wind energy and also solar energy. And those fees are based on megawatt hours, based on the megawatts produced. So that's already covered, so that one, so that really isn't the actual, that doesn't come into play with this. Because as we know, that would consume a lot of time, a lot of acreage, if something like that does come to pass.
I move that we would approve this. I guess the wording for it would be what your drafted ordinance upon approval through the hearing process and
Okay.
move forward.
Yep. And have the hearing at the next commissioners meeting to schedule the public hearing. Do the paperwork for scheduling the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to, we have a number for this ordinance yet, Jane? Okay,
It would be 2024-03.
2024-03, to accept ordinance 2024-03 on adopting a building fee schedule in order to move the ordinance on to public hearing. Any further question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will, you want to go with our next meeting or our first meeting in?
I would go with the next meeting, so, because we can take care of that. So I think the sooner we can do this, the better. So I'm hearing some things about a couple other projects down the pipeline, so I think the sooner we can actually have this in place, it'd be better for businesses and anyone who wants to make an investment really within Fayette County. And now that with this, is Mr. Cook has a request of the county commissioners.
Okay, we will advertise public hearing for March 19th. At 2 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, Mr. Cook.
Okay, you can introduce the
This is
gentleman.
Mr. Jeff Cook from, and what is your actual title with Reed?
I'm the Director of Engineering for Reed Health.
Okay.
I take care of all of our buildings, maintenance-wise. I'm also the project manager for all of our construction. And I want to applaud Bill for going down this route to get this in line with other areas where we've built buildings and invested in communities. We are mobilizing right now. I talked to one of the nice ladies down the hall, and they were telling me that they had heard, we pulled out because we took the temporary fence down. That is not a true statement. We took the temporary fence down, put the permanent construction fence up. This afternoon when I came into town, we had surveyors on site, and our site contractor was there getting ready. My superintendent is there right now, meeting the folks that are going to start setting up construction trailers. Our plan is to mobilize on March the 11th. I have paperwork on my computer.
Oh, well, if you can go ahead and come down here.
Okay.
Let's make it official. Use the podium. Yeah, for your request.
I do have paperwork on my computer that Bill's waiting on to move forward for our foundation permit and all of that. And the fee is $325, which, you know,
Because as I said, right now, it would be about a $4,200–4,300 permit just for a foundation. And so what Mr. Like is for the county commissioners to approve then the foundation release at the lower rate, at the proposed rate.
Okay, so you'd like us to waive the current fee?
Yeah, and then
Yes.
then permit the proposed foundation release fee.
Okay. And that's for the foundation permit.
Because then by the time the Reed is then ready with the design release to get started on the rest of the project is hopefully everything will be ready to go and then adopted on with the revised fee schedule, with the fee schedule with the amendments.
Okay, what's your pleasure on this request?
I think it's good to go ahead and move forward with it. I mean, that's my feeling on it. Well, you have something to do. Oh, okay, I'm making a motion then, to go ahead and release that current fee that we have set up, and to allow for the new or the pending one
proposed fee, yeah.
of $325 for the foundation.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Tracy, second by Dale, to waive the current foundation permit fee for the Reed Hospital project and set a charge that would be what is our proposed new ordinance reflects to be a $325 fee versus $4,200, you say?
Yeah, it'd be around $4,400.
Okay. All right. Any further question? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There you go, Jeff.
thank you. Get started.
Now, did you say you're going to dig some dirt this month?
March the 11th,
March 11th?
the big yellow machine, outside March the 11th.
And do you have some type of time window on the design release and completing the rest of the construction drawings for the rest of the...
The architect submitted the final CDs last week, so as soon as the state does their thing, we'll get that plan release done and come back and get the rest of the permits.
Yeah. And their project manager he's made a request to meet with me so we can then discuss the various protocols for doing the inspections and sign-offs, those lines.
Okay, very well. Hope everything goes great for you guys.
We do too. Thank you very much.
Okay. Animal Shelter Director, Dave Ryckman. Dave, do you have anything to report today?
Only thing I have to say is a couple things. Our building is pretty well completed, so it's looking good. Dale was up there. And like I asked Dale, if we can get the county to bring some dirt around there on the foundation, try to slope it a little bit, keep the water away. And next week, I'd like to take off work for about 4 days. The reason why is my wife's anniversary.
Oh.
So So we thought we'd do something nice.
Okay, so you're gonna use some vacation days?
Yes, sir.
All right. When it dries up,
Yes.
Jay's got a big pile of dirt down there. We can bring you a bit of dirt spread out there next to the building.
All right. Thanks, appreciate it. And all the HVAC will be coming in next week too.
Okay,
So we're moving along.
yeah,
All right,
Good.
thanks.
all right. EMA Director Wade Walling, Wade, do you have anything today?
I do have two items. I need approval to go to county council tonight for an additional appropriation for the installation of the siren. Last year in 2023, I had funding in my budget to cover that installation, but due to the weather, it kept getting postponed because of the cranes. So now I've got the bill for that, and the installation's complete. So I need to get that bill paid.
Yeah, we still owe on that?
Yeah, just on the installation.
Okay.
Yeah, because the money was re-encumbered back into the budget January 1, and they didn't get it installed until February 2nd, I think it was.
I see.
Approved to go before the council.
I'll second that.
Okay, we've got a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to send Wade Walling to the county council to ask for an additional appropriation so we pay for the installation of the warning siren. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Now, speaking of that siren, I heard somebody showing off with that thing yesterday afternoon, or something was going on, because I heard it going off.
At 6 p.m., yeah, the first Monday of every month we test at 6 p.m. Just to make sure all the components are working and that it will work when it's needed. Now, that being said, we had a tornado warning here the other night, and I had like 5 minutes to prepare for it, and the time I talked to dispatch and said, hey, set the siren off, the National Weather Service canceled it for our area. So, that being said, that leads to another important point, is Dale and I met with Purdue talking about the weather station. We found out through this conversation that I believe there's a weather station owned in Glenwood by somebody on private land. I'm not sure who it is, and Purdue didn't even know how to access their data. But Dale will be working directly with Beth Hall, Dr. Beth Hall from Purdue, on the contracts. And she did state that even if the grant doesn't go through for that, she would still like to get a weather station here in Connersville, and we would just have to start looking for other ways to fund it. So I think that will be really good and beneficial to Fayette County residents, because it will give us real-time data that linked with all the other climate offices and other weather stations in Indiana run through Purdue. We'll be able to predict a little more readily than waiting on National Weather Service in Wilmington. So I'm excited about that grant opportunity. I have not had any decisions from FEMA or IDHS on it, whether we're going to approve it or not yet. So, but I'll let you know as soon as I do. So the second item I had was for my emergency management vehicle. I've got some problems with the front end. It's kind of wobbly when you get up to speed, whether that's 50 or even 60 miles an hour. And that's because the front end needs some adjustment, new shocks, new brake pads, new rotors all the way around, and there's just a few other things. So I have to go to the council and ask for additional appropriation to get those fixed, if you guys approve that.
Move to approve.
I'll second it.
Got a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to send Wade to county council again for an additional appropriation for vehicle repairs. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Okay.
Awesome.
Now, did you say that that siren test was a monthly thing?
every month, the first Monday of the month at 6 p.m. That way we're not catching people in court or in school or something like that. I tried to schedule it so on a reliable schedule so
Okay,
people can start.
I'll remember that, the first Monday of every month
Right.
at 6 p.m. expect to hear the siren go.
If you're outside.
Yeah.
Remember that the important thing about a siren is it's meant for people outside. If you're in your house, you have TV or something else going, you may not hear it. The effective radius that surrounds that siren is about a mile. Anything further than that, it starts becoming really faint. And it's really, I stood outside on my balcony last night when it was going off, and it's not the loudest thing in the world, but it's just one more tool in an arsenal, our toolbox that we have to warn people. That, along with Civic Alert and social media and National Weather Service, all of those combined help alert our citizens or our residents that there's severe weather coming. So the other point to that is the severe weather siren will not be activated unless it's a severe warning. Straight line winds, tornadoes, it's a thunderstorm watch or, something like that. It has to be actually happening for us to set that off. That way we don't get people used to hearing a siren for all these other categories. We want it strictly for a warning to let them know they need to take an action. So.
Okay, thanks, Wade.
Yep.
Highway Department, Jay Hadlin, do you have anything today?
Oh, yeah. Don't sit over and grin, Dave. I'll start with the easy one first. What do you think of that? This is the quotes, and the Ford that's on there, he's already put it all together for us, put a flatbed on it, checked it, made sure everything's on it straight. Nothing wrong with it. This will be the third truck we bought off him up there, and he does a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, I come by there every now and then, he's always got a
Oh yeah, he keeps a lot of stuff on his
selection of
lot.
trucks. Now,
And I did test drive the Explorer, Dale, and it's got plenty of leg room in it, and hot sitting room. I think it'll work fine for a supervisor down there. Because the Durango always worked fine, just Richard didn't want a Durango, he wanted the truck.
Yeah. So this would be to replace
This would replace the old 32 truck, which is framed rusted into on it, and the Dodge that give out on us.
yeah.
Then I'll move the white Dodge down to the one spot, and that Ford will replace the Rich truck.
And we've got a flatbed to put on that?
He put a flatbed on it, he got it all ready. He said he had bought the bed for it and had a company put it on there, and he went through everything on it, checked everything, make sure nothing needed to be replaced. I think he went and replaced the seats in it because one of the seats was tore up. He fixed all that. He went through everything, made sure everything was right and everything worked. I say he does a pretty good job with them. I went over to Rushville and looked at the ones over there, but for the price they got on one, you buy both of them.
Who's this through?
Moe's Auto Sales, he's located up at Spiceland
Okay.
on, that's State Road 3.
Three, yeah. He's
Three
right.
through Spiceland,
Spiceland.
there on the east side of the road.
He has all those white ones.
Yeah. I don't know where he gets all that stuff. He sure gets a lot of it. Now, you're wanting the white F-250
Yeah,
and the black Explorer.
yeah. Swore supervisor will use, and the X-250 will go for bridge truck. We'll mount the other boxes on it, and have it all ready, and they can haul everything they need to haul in. It's what they call a heavy 3/4 ton, got the 8 lug wheels on it.
One's got 154,000, one's got 108,000 miles. Think they're all right?
Yep. I haven't had trouble out of his trucks yet.
What's your pleasure?
You got the money in the budget?
Yeah.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve the purchase of a Ford Explorer and a Ford F-250 flatbed truck from Moe's Auto Sales, Bison, Indiana. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes, James.
Okay, I remember I told you we was trying to haul our trash up to the transfer station because we had lost our dumpster. It was getting too high. I've got prices from Rumpke and over there where we had the other dumpster from. And they're both gonna, it could average about $1,000 a month to have a dumpster sit back here than for them to haul anything off. Because they charge you, I had the paperwork here, I don't know what it is with it. Let me look again. I bet it's laying on my desk. Where you want to bet?
If it was laying on mine, you'd never find it. Didn't we talk a little bit about taking our trash from down there to the transfer station?
If it's getting to be a pain trying to keep it in that little one little dump truck because the cats get in it and they tear it all to pieces because the sides aren't high enough to keep them out. They drag it out of the truck bed and it's out on the ground. And we're actually dumping trash up there twice a week. And that's not counting anything coming from out on the roads.
So you don't have any paperwork?
No, I don't have paperwork with me. I don't know what I did with it.
Well, when you find that stuff, bring it back. We'll talk further about it. $1,000 a month is quite a bit, I think, for
Yeah, because
keeping a dumpster sitting around.
How often are they picking the trash up?
do what?
How often is that agreement to pick your trash up? Is
They
that,
pick it up once a month. It depends on the size dumpster you get. If you get a smaller one, you're gonna have to get it once a month because we'd have it full and nothing flat. Especially if we get it on the weekend, they don't have a place to dump it, and we dump the stuff we get on the road on it, you know. See, we used an open, like a 33-yard one. Out there what we had back there. And it got real expensive. But we was only dumping it once every 3 months, but they was charging us rent for each month we had it. And then a fee on what you put in it in weight, and plus the haul fee to take it up there. And it wiped out our budget real fast when they took control over it over there.
Well, I know we pick up a lot of stuff along the roads.
Especially tires.
Yeah, in a year's time, yeah. I just saw a big pile out there at Bridge 44 the other day. But
We
anyhow,
can't get the transfer station to take the big tires. And they only let us dump maybe 5 or 6 at a time. And we had such a pile back there, I called where we get our tires at. And I told them from now on, when we get tires, they gotta make an agreement to take the tires we got here and not charge us for it. We sent 3 truckloads of tires up there to get rid of them, just to get the lot emptied out because of all the tires back there. That's dump truckload, big trucks. There wasn't the little trucks.
Have you talked to Chris Lovett about a dumpster? Chris Lovett?
He never did call me back on it. I talked to him and he said he didn't know if he could compete with anybody else on it or not, because he just takes it up here to the transfer station.
No.
But the tires are what's gonna be more expensive than anything. Because I forget, they charge you $1 for the lawnmower tires, like $3 for a car tire, and it just keeps going up. And when you get to a loader tire or something like that, it's almost up to $300 to dump one of them stupid things. They don't want them. But I'll get the paperwork and I'll bring it in, drop it in your mailboxes.
Okay,
I had it, I don't know what I did with it.
well,
I had one of the oil guys come in. He's been listening to everything going on with the distributor. He sent me that. I didn't know they was getting into doing the chip sealing as much as they're saying they are.
do you provide any prices with this?
No, we never went that far with it yet. I can just check around and see what he can find out for me.
I think it's really important that we do something,
Yeah.
because we don't have a distributor truck, and some roads are really
If
bad.
they'll come in, they'll want to do it all in a hurry. They'll want to get it all done because they won't want to linger down here very long. So we'll have to make sure everything's ready for them if we decide to go that route.
I had heard about this before. I guess, have we ever utilized any type of service before?
Not
here?
for chip sealing, just maybe just for hot mix and stuff, and that's it. Most counties do their own chip sealing, but I guess they're getting away from it because your equipment gets old.
No,
It's
we
easier to
haven't
hire
used-
somebody to just come in and hit it, and then you don't have to worry about that equipment the rest of the year.
But we have our own chip, we do have a chip seal
We
box.
got a brand new chip box and everything, yeah.
So is there a way just to contract the person to come up and do oil and?
Yeah, well, it
and then we
states that
use
on
it?
that, you can get them just to spray the road.
Yeah, so that would be a lesser expense.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be that they're chip sealing.
Yep.
We're just using them for the, okay.
It would be interesting to see what happened if we had somebody come in, bring their own distributor truck and lay down the oil, and then we could do the rest and see how that lasts. Because
Yeah.
I've looked at some of these roads here recently that we done last summer, and
The
the
oil's there, you can see the oil,
Yeah.
but the gravel is not sticking to it.
gravel's coming off in
Yep.
strips.
I don't know whether there wasn't enough oil. I don't know. I've never seen it act like that before.
Well, I never have either. Makes me wonder if they haven't done something to the oil formula itself.
I haven't talked to any other counties to find out if they're having any problems or not, but I could. Travel around and check with a couple of them. It can't hurt.
It's really frustrating.
I know.
I
We
have
got a
heard-
lot of roads that need it right now.
Oh, yes. Yep. That's
They said
probably first order.
Waterloo up there where we had it all paved is cracking big time.
Yes, very bad.
So it needs to it needs to be sprayed.
Maybe twice even. I mean, I think a lot of, from what I understand, it's doubling now on, not just one time through the chip seal, but two. At the point where we're at.
I can get with the guy that sent me all this and find out, get some names.
It would be interesting to know what,
Okay.
how cheaply we could get by with this. You want to have Jay get more information on it? Get some more information on this, you pass it along.
Okay, I can do that. And we are having trouble out there on 525 West, you know where I'm talking about, Tom Ling's Road. They I told you about putting the fence post up along the outside edge of the road. And the road's got a 34-foot right-of-way in it. And they're actually right on the right-of-way. And I told him he couldn't block the guy's access to the road. And I don't know why they can't get along, but they need to do something different instead of squabbling the way they're doing.
Those guys don't call me. You heard from them lately, Tracy?
Oh, it's still going on.
Yeah, I don't know that, as far as our part in that, is the road established yet with the gravel?
We've got the gravel, the road's not as wide as it's supposed to be the right-of-way is right now, because the road's only supposed to be 14 foot wide. But the right-of-way is actually 34 foot. So, and if you want to put the road back where it should be, he's gonna have to move his post.
Well, I thought that's what we agreed to in the meeting 2 months ago here with the person, one of the owners
Well,
there.
the trouble is you're only getting one of them here.
But I mean, we established, I thought, we may have to look back in our notes, that we were gonna put the road back and have it end where it's supposed to end. That hasn't happened, that's what I mean by
Yeah,
our
it's
part.
back where it's supposed to, but it needs to be spread out a little better, is what I'm saying. Because right now where he's got posts, the grader can't get in there and do it real well, because the grader's got a 12-foot blade on it.
So we just need to ask him to move. Have you already asked him to move his post?
I told him he needed to move it. I told him they need to get along. I told him he couldn't block the guy's access to the road. If that's his line out there where them posts are at, why he's just trying to aggravate the guy is all he's trying to do. But you can't. You got an easement over there on that side of the line going around it, and it's so he can get to the road, and the road goes down there where his building's at. He don't need the easement. He's right there by the end of the road. You don't.
Don't make no sense to me.
No, not to squabble over something silly like that, but
Yeah.
How long ago was he asked to move his post by you?
that's just been last week.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize he had them all up until somebody told me.
Yeah, they've been up for a while.
I know, I sent the grader out there to widen the road out a little bit, and he told me he could only go back to the building, and he couldn't get back to the end of the road, so he set a whirl fence right in the middle of the road to stop him from backing any farther. And I'm really surprised the grader operator just didn't shove it down the road, but you know how that goes. He didn't want to get in the middle of anything.
Maybe the sheriff needs to patrol the road. When there's a roll of fence, call a record, tow it off. Let him start paying for his fence.
I was gonna send you down there.
It's safer road done.
You walked into that one, didn't you?
Did we have an end of road sign put up? At the
I
end
thought
of
they put one up back there, but I haven't went back and looked that hard.
Because that was the other thing we
I
did
thought
say.
Bill said they did.
Because I'm the one that measured it from the intersection back here with the truck, and I got 4/10 of a mile right before I run into the metal silo back here, and that's a 100th of a mile too far because it's only 0.39. And he's got it, we got the gravel right almost to the end of it. But he set the wire right there where you couldn't put any more on.
Well, I haven't been back in there for quite some time, so I don't know what.
We need to take a ride.
going on.
Road trip.
But they, you know, I haven't been hearing anything from them.
What's your recommendation, Jeff?
First thing you have to decide if you want to make the road a road, where you want to make it full road. And then you just take things out if they're in the way. That's it.
So we don't have to ask his permission and take his fence out of our road.
No.
That's what you've done, right? Now you've done it nice, now you can take it out.
If that's what you want to do.
Well, it is county
Where,
road.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's county road.
If I go and put a concrete block in the middle of a county road, you have the right to move it.
Yeah.
It's no different.
If his fence posts are right on the line,
The only thing that makes me squirmish is we keep saying, I measure it with a truck, and I mean, I live in a world of surveys and stakes,
Yeah.
and
We went through
measure
that.
it with a truck is not, that doesn't give me all warm and cozy feelings.
Bill Mackey was here and he actually had a map for it.
Yeah,
We
it's
went
way
through
As long
that.
as we know
39.
as long as we know the exact property markers,
Yeah, we had
and
it.
it's, you're
Well,
putting your road up.
that's the problem.
I don't have it with me.
To determine where the actual road's supposed to lay, it's been moved so many times, how do you know?
You have to have a survey done.
Yeah.
That might be your best step, is to have a survey done, or have the surveyor say this is, a surveyor either says I know exactly where it's at, or he says I don't, and then it needs to be surveyed.
He did when he was here. You remember the meeting? Bill was here with the,
Mhm.
yeah, right.
What, he said he's not a surveyor, he can't
Well,
check.
no, he went by what was it the state that came in and measured all of our roads? And it's in a book down there in his office. That's what he had on record, because he touched base with Jerry.
Yeah, I've got the
who
same-
had surveyed it. and
Tracy, I
Jerry
got the
told
same
him.
sheet
Okay.
he's got right here.
And then Jerry's the one that gave him information to know what he shared with us at that
We have a
meeting.
file cabinet that hasn't been down there since the 80s, and that shows you how long it is right there at .39.
Yeah. Now, I think what he had was whatever the state had done, which would be beyond that, probably. I may have this in the office, but Bill's not here today.
so our best bet would be to have it surveyed.
If you're wanting to put this right, the safest way is to have it surveyed and then just not care and advise all property owners that we're coming through and putting a road here, and anything that's in the way will be removed and stored at the owner's expense, or
Well, I think that's gonna be about the only way we're gonna stop all this.
I agree.
I think it's, could send that guy back there, out there, and he'd settle it in 10 minutes.
Once you get it surveyed, we'll settle it.
But we're all operating under I think someone said that this was surveyed, or I think I know this was this. A survey comes out, he stakes it, and it's,
Yeah.
it's over.
He's going by the survey that the guy done before he bought the house.
Whatever, I don't
And
care.
he told him the road ended right there in front of his house up there in front.
Well, surveyors have been known to disagree, but if we hire a surveyor, we're gonna trust that surveyor.
Yeah.
I'll move we have Bill get a surveyor and survey it,
I'll second that.
get it settled.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy, to ask the county surveyor to secure a legitimate survey of the location of the County Road 525 West.
Yep.
And report back to us. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. I'd like to get this thing settled once and for all.
You and me both.
It's also your decision that once we have it surveyed, he's to make it a road and do what he needs to do to make it a road.
Well, it is. It is a road now.
Right.
It's just dead end road.
Yeah.
It used to have only one person at the end of the road, now it has three.
At one time, it went all the way through.
That was a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah. There's several places like that around.
I know. They make them a pain when they do that to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have anything else, Jay?
I've got the paperwork I give you on the Pleasant View out there. You want to discuss that right now? Or you want to wait till the end?
Well, while you're here, might as well get into it. Mr. Jones is here on this same subject.
You want to look at this? That's where,
Where's that right there? That's the
That's
sewer.
something else.
That's the sewer.
Oh,
With map.
He's talking about this right now. So he's-
yeah.
Okay.
Did the owners end up getting together and mark out a path or kind of talk about that?
I don't know what they've talked about. I know we went and checked with Shirk about the sewer lines because they got a manhole right up there front, close, right off the road. He said the lines run along by past the houses, and he said they're not very deep up there. You have to be careful, whatever you do. And with the trees right there, that creates a problem.
All right, so,
What do we do? I don't know.
well, Mr. Jones here is in the process, I think, buying that ground back there. And we really, for all intents and purposes, can't and shouldn't do anything until he is the owner of record of that property back there. And when he becomes owner of record, he's going to have at least two options to access that property. Now, if you go on with your plan to later divide that into two parcels instead of one,
It'll be divided before we purchase it. That's gonna be in a purchase,
okay,
and they know that.
you're gonna divide it into two parcels right from the beginning.
Correct.
Okay, and then that would mean the only access to to half that parcel would be from Serenity Parkway.
Correct.
And there's where he would have to use the existing right-of-way that goes between these two houses.
I found the marker for the western part, and it is, well, the manhole cover is just continuing west, just off the side a little bit. So I know what the manhole cover he's talking about.
Yeah.
But I talked to the other two homeowners, and they said that they would prefer a straight drive, straight back.
Stay away from manholes and cut down trees, that's it.
Yeah. Well,
That's it.
what do you want us to do now?
Did you hear it?
I'd say give him an easement, let him put his driveway up through there.
That's the only thing we can do.
That'd be the smartest thing to do. You can put it right between the trees and go right down the middle. Because we go cutting them trees down, none of my guys want to tackle it because it's got them houses are close. They're afraid you're gonna drop them on a house. And you're gonna take a heck of a bucket truck to get them tops out of them trees. So if you could do it without taking the trees down, you'd be 100% better off.
And does that fit with your plan or not?
It will, yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
As long as I have access to the property, I don't have an issue.
all right.
And we have already got pre-approved for purchase of it.
That would let us keep from, making a mess, a bigger mess.
Yeah.
Well, would it be okay if I cut a tree or two down?
I shouldn't answer that on my own.
Oh, no, I don't, well, the reason I asked was because when I was talking to Zach, he's the guy in the eastern part. He said that the first, as you're looking at the property, the first tree is
They got
half
pictures.
gone. I'm sorry?
They got pictures.
Okay. Well, the top of that tree is half gone, it's got struck by lightning, I can't remember when, but that tree ended up on the other side of his house. And that would help me for access, that way I can widen it out, give a little bit of curb right there, so I have access for construction trucks.
Yeah, because it's gonna be tight going between them trees.
Yeah, looking at this picture, I'd say you'd have to cut at least 2 trees there to get a straight shot in there between them.
So you're just asking us for permission to cut trees on that?
If everything goes right, I get an easement, yes. I'm not gonna touch that zone.
Well, you'd put in the easement that the ability to take down trees in order to make a sufficient road.
Yeah, well, it's the county's right of way. We can tell him, yeah, you can take these trees out if you want. But until he is the owner of record, I wouldn't recommend
No.
doing anything, you know?
No, I would give, of course, easements go with properties, so the easement wouldn't go to him, it'd go to that property. But I would have him present us with an easement at his choice, and then I'll review it and tell you what I like, don't like, what the pros and cons, and what it means.
This isn't really an easement, is it? It's a county-owned right-of-way.
Well, that's all, I thought we were giving him an easement. We're not giving him an easement, you're just saying that we're gonna make it a right of way, and he's gonna put a road on it?
I thought this was settled.
I thought we were putting a road in. This last 10 minutes changed everything to me.
It is a...
We used easement language, and that changes the whole thing to me. Easement means it's his. It's all, we own it, but he's getting to go do what he wants to do with it.
Yeah.
Well, that's not us putting a road in.
No.
Okay. So it's an easement. We are doing an easement.
If that's what everybody... I don't care. If that's okay with everybody.
In the long run, it'd be better if we done the easement. It'd be cheaper for us, easier for him, and keep the area looking better for everybody.
That's what I'm saying, but I get lost when we don't have to. I do think we have to do something if we're letting him do it.
Okay. Well, I've never been in a situation where we were overlaying had an easement overlaying a right-of-way. I've never seen that before.
Well, that happens.
Okay. In your last meeting, the motion that was approved was to develop it as a road.
Yeah, so the last 10 minutes threw me for a loop, I apologize.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I kind of got thrown for a loop on that one. I thought we were, and that's why I said that it sounds like you're going to cut a couple trees down and put a straight road through there. But then now we're saying he's getting an easement. If we put a road, there's no easement. It's ours. Okay? If we let him do something with it, in my opinion, that needs to be in an easement form. Just like it would be if he were giving it to we're just another private owner. Okay? I don't like the liability of us saying it's a roadway, but he's doing everything with it. That's not the way we want to have roads.
If we make it an easement, then he maintains it clear out to Serenity Parkway.
You can put in those easements, you can put anything you want. Okay, you can put who's obligated to maintain it, who's obligated to mow it, who's obligated to do all those things. Who's obligated to bring in more gravel or more, reseal it when it needs to be, or whatever those things are. An easement makes sense if you're willing to do that. But my preferred, just so it's clear, my preferred method is that we make it a road. I know that's the most costly, but that would be my preferred. That's just liability-wise, all those things, that's just the cleanest way. We make a road because we know what we're doing, we know how to do it.
Well, at our last meeting, we approved making it a road.
That's what I thought we were, yeah, so I was speaking a different language, yeah. I mean, if we make it a road, we'll probably, it sounds like, have to hire out somebody getting the trees cut. But there is, as we all know, there is somebody willing to do it. And it may be more costly, but we do it right. We do it the way we want to do it.
Okay, well,
An easement makes it to where you'll probably always have this hassle of neighbors and everything like that. And, well, he's not using the easement the way it was prescribed, or, you know, this kind of thing, so.
well, at this point, all this is speculative until Mr. Jones is actually the owner of record. Is that
Smith,
right?
please.
Smith, Mr.
Smith.
Pardon?
Smith?
Mr.
Oh,
Smith.
yeah.
Are you willing and able to purchase it on the theory that this board in its minutes is willing to either make it a road or give you an easement?
Absolutely.
Okay.
As long as I have access, that's the only thing I'm worried about.
Right. So
That's how-
I
that's
think
why I
this
haven't-
board has decided, I hope, that it will either be a road or an easement, that you are in fact going to have access to that property through that area.
And I'm okay with either one.
But I don't know which, I don't know, that's kind of a choice between you guys. Like I said, the cleanest way, the way I thought we were going, was a road. But that's not the cheapest for the county.
No.
Roads aren't cheaper for the county. That's just a fact. But if he does it, what happens, you know, he hits the water main. He hits, you know, he drops one tree, you know, we control the.
Well, if he did it, it may be more palatable to the neighbors. There would be less things disturbed that way.
Sure.
So,
And those, technically, those trees are an actual liability to the county. Because they're being up at the houses on the other side. I wouldn't want to take them all out.
what are we expected to do today about this?
If it were me, I would make the decision on whether you want it to be a road or you want to give him an easement to him make his own road and access it. That would be my first choice. If you choose the road, then we go through, and as soon as he has purchased the property and asks and requests, then we go ahead and put a road in. If you choose the easement, then as soon as he has purchased the property, he comes to us with a proposed easement document. We review it, make modifications if necessary, and then record it, and then he gets to do what he wants.
Mr. Weston, where would I get that?
You have to go to a lawyer.
Oh,
It costs you, it's going to cost, what I'm trying to do is not make them have to pay for it, right? If you're getting easement, you should have to pay for the easement, right? They're giving you something and they're not making you buy it from them, so that's what I'm trying to save.
Would that be the full 60 foot? The current right of way?
Well, that's, you're going to have to talk to Bill McDaniel and make sure it meets the code, because it usually an easement's 60 foot, yes. And that's what makes me nervous about giving you an easement.
An easement's 60 foot?
I think so, 50 or 60 in the code. Because that doesn't mean the roadway has to be that wide, but the easement's got to be that wide to allow for utilities and such.
Do they require that in the town too?
Well, where do you have an easement in
I've got an
town?
easement next to my property going to the house behind me. And it's only 10 foot wide.
The road's 10 foot wide, or
The
the
easement's 10 foot wide. It goes from center of the road,
Well, you'll have to
10
just.
foot out of my property.
I don't have that off the top of my head, so you'll have to talk to Bill McDaniel at the clerk's office, and he'll tell you how wide the easement needs to be. But I'm familiar with most of them being in that 50 to 60 foot range, because you have to allow for utilities.
Yeah.
And nobody ever puts the road that wide, obviously, but that's the easement.
I was just wanting to know.
Obviously, they would want it as narrow as makes sense, and I'm sure your neighbors would as well. I thought we were doing the road cleaned it up. It's up to you guys.
I like the easement myself. It leaves part of the truth, and we don't tear everything out. If we do,
And
we're
that
gonna
costs
tear
money.
everything out,
Yeah.
all the trees and everything,
Stumps gotta come out and everything.
yeah.
Yeah, because easement seems simpler and less intrusive for what it looks like right now, probably for the neighbors. They just don't know, because we didn't make it a road. So we need, that communication would need to I think an easement, I mean, as far as the highway not being comfortable doing this job, it's gonna be more costly for us too, so probably would be better just to allow him to have it, his easement. I mean, if I were gonna be able to put a house back there, I'd probably prefer that it was my easement rather than it's a county road, a little short, you know. Then this would mean you're responsible for that, right, the whole thing. So then we're not gonna have to plow and take, I mean, if we do it as a road, then we're responsible for that piece of road, right?
Certainly.
So then we would have that to have to take care of too, so I don't know. I feel like it'd be better if it was an easement. It would look better.
David, would that suit your purpose?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
So do we need to make a motion to amend the road to an easement?
Just because it's a road and it's, you know, it's usually kept track, I would go ahead and make one motion to revoke the making it a roadway, or to finishing it as a roadway. And then I would make a second motion as regarding granting an easement upon approval of the easement document.
What you just said.
What do you just say?
She don't
Revoking of the
type.
road.
I'm hoping that's what she said.
Okay, I got moved to revoke
So,
the previous motion to finish
just
the roadway.
Motion to revoke the earlier motion to make it a finished roadway.
That's all we're doing.
That's my motion.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion by Dale, seconded by Tracy, to reverse an earlier decision, creating a road on a right-of-way in Pleasant View. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3 ayes. Next motion.
To give him an easement rights for an easement from his property line if he gets it bought to Serenity.
I'll second that.
Do we want in the full width the 60 foot or just a easement?
Just say an easement, and then he can get with Bill MacDaniel, and then he can advise his council how wide it needs to be. But you're not approving, and it's important, they're not,
Right.
they need to approve the actual easement document, they're just approving the idea of giving you an easement.
That's my motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy, to approve awarding an easement off Serenity Parkway to David Smith sometime in the future, if he becomes owner of that property, for access to that property. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes.
Now it is so.
Okay.
And then Mr. Smith's gonna get an attorney and bring us a.
Well, you don't have to, I mean, you could do it, but I'd just get a local lawyer.
I'll get a lawyer.
Have them draft an easement document. First step would go to Bill MacDaniel and see what it needs, how wide it needs to be, and what it needs to include. And then go to a lawyer and have them draft it, and they can send it to me.
Pass that around to Dale.
If you go to somebody within Donut counties, they'll know me, so you can just have them send it to me and I'll review it.
Okay. And then you'll review it?
I'll review it and then we'll put it on the agenda, and
Okay.
these folks will approve it on the agenda and sign it. And then it gets attached. So how an easement works is an easement, and it's important for you folks to know as well, for the commissioners, an easement attaches to the property. So your parcel will have an easement across that, not you individually. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay.
And if he was to ever sell our easement, his easement through ours would stay with that property.
If he builds a house and sells that property, then the new property owner has that same easement right. But the way to think of it is that property has that right, not that person.
I forgot, I found them.
Okay, are we done with the easement matter? All right, you found some papers on your dumpster service down there. All right, you want to explain this? You got one here from Rumpke and one from Waste Management.
They charge you so much a month for it sitting there. Then they charge you a pickup fee, which is the number down below so much a month. And then there's
Waste Management.
a weight fee.
$450 a month, whether they pick it up or not.
Yep. That's when they pick it up. That's if they pick it up.
Did you, or could you also check one more place?
Where's that?
Big B?
I called them, they wouldn't come down and give us the quote on it.
Really?
Yeah, I talked to the guy supposed to go around and do the quotes, and he never showed up. I've called him 3 times. I know they're here, they're plenty for around here. I used them when I remodeled my house up there.
Yeah, they're very, I mean, I know I've called
Yep.
them. They were the best with these 3 right here.
They have dumpsters.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we need to call them again.
I can call them back again and get a quote from them.
I actually have an account with them, so I could call them too. You
Yeah.
call them and I'll call them. Maybe see what's going on.
But I've got copies of it, so I'm not worried about that.
Wasn't it Rumpke that we was talking about recently that picks up behind the jail? We never did, we never have got that settled, have we? It'd be kind of nice if we had, if we could find one
company for everybody.
One company to take care of all our needs,
Yep.
and maybe get a better rate on it.
I think the Rumpke number's got the guy that calls it, takes care of the rates and everything else on the bottom of it. Because he gave me his number.
But in the meantime, you're hauling.
We're hauling it up to transfer station,
Hauling it up
yes.
to transfer station. Well, as long as you're doing that, we're saving money.
Depends on how much time we gotta clean up out in the yard, the cats get done with it.
Well, call Dave Ryckman, he'll take care of the cats for you.
I'll tell him you told me to call him.
You do that.
Tell him if he wants his dirt, he's gotta come down and get rid of the cats. That's all I've got.
Do you want us to hang on to these?
Yeah, you can. I've got copies back at the garage.
Okay. Now, while you're here, we've got this complaint about sewer running into a
It's
culvert
that culvert down there at the bottom of the hill.
in the Pleasant View neighborhood. Now, is that any of our responsibility or not?
It's coming out of the manhole that they worked on. And the only reason our can is open. We don't have anything to do with his sewer line.
Does the Indiana Department of Environmental Management understand that?
I've answered her, when they sent that, I answered them, told them that we know how to take care of his sewer lines out there, and his sewer lines is what's causing the problem.
Yeah.
And he says it ain't, so what are you gonna do?
I don't know. I don't know how you argue with somebody on that, because the existence of a culvert does not create sewer overflow. And
That makes sense.
I don't know why they're looking at us for.
Because that's where everybody's telling them to look.
Well, I don't think that's correct.
And I haven't got, I just answered her call. I figured I'd show that to you before I got another
Yeah.
reply back from her.
did they have a representative that actually came out? And
No, they took the message evidently and got
Okay.
pictures or something.
Well, I would argue that we don't have any responsibility in that.
We don't have any ditches out there. That culvert was there to catch the water coming across the field to go into that tile that goes under all them houses.
Well,
Remember, we had that discussion on that once before. There's a tile they put in the ground when they built the houses. It runs all the way over to their station over there.
well, maybe they'll decide to come down here and look at it for themselves. There's nothing we can do about that today. Is that all you had?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
Let's move on. Let the sheriff. The sheriff, you have anything?
It's my annual jail report. I'll make it quick because we've been here for a while. I have to provide it to commissioners, council, pretty much everybody in the courthouse. And Jane, you have to make it a public record, I guess. This basically tells everything that we've done last year. 809 bookends, about the same as the last couple years. Our average daily population is 127. Right now we're really low, we're about 110, so 127 people in our jail, 114 is what we're supposed to hold. Just flipping through it quickly, shows the amount of money we made off of DOC. That's for inmates that are sentenced that stay in our jail 5 days after sentence. DOC's sort of slow to take inmates sometimes, so we get money off of them for that. In the middle of the year last year, they started taking level 6 felons back, so we don't get paid for those anymore unless they're there for the 5 extra days. The next page, charging statistics. Battery, again, our number one charge. Looks like that's been for the last 3 years. Not a big change in anything. Possession of meth, number 2. DUI, number 3. What we normally see. Our staffing analysis, this was done years ago. It hasn't changed because our jail hasn't changed. Last year we were in need of 5 people. With the Women's Center, that's going to increase, but this is for last year's statistics, I guess. Transports, that's a biggie. 70,000 miles that we have driven, or we drove last year. Most of it is Ryan Young, our transport officer, going to prison to pick people up to bring them back for a 15-minute hearing, and then he drives them back to prison. It is what it is. Some of the stuff is done with video court, but we're just not doing a lot of video court. So there's times we got to drive all the way up to Westville, that's northernmost part of Indiana, pick them up for one court hearing and then take them right back. Another thing that affected the transport mileage, about 20,000 miles, 20 or 30,000 miles more than 2022. We're doing a lot of juvenile transports. We used to have a contract with the place in Muncie, and they would come pick them up. They don't do that no more. So we have to come pick them up, or we have to take them, bring them back for court. A lot of times we're taking juveniles up to South Bend. That's the closest place they can get, I guess. So I think if they're up there, every other week we have to pick them up and bring them back down here for a court hearing. And a lot of times those kids are staying up there for 6 to 8 months. So that's a lot of driving back and forth to pick our juveniles up. Medical costs, did I skip over? Overtime, I'm sorry, overtime in the jail, that's went up quite a bit. Again, we can't hire and keep people. The salary is better than what it used to be, but it's still lower than every surrounding county, so people can leave and go make the same money at Walmart or a lot more money at Wayne County or Franklin County Jail. So we've got a mandatory 3 people that have to work all the time, so if we're short, like we are now on a female, we got to run an overtime shift, and it's costing us. And then the transports also, we got 1 transport officer and he can't do it all, so there's times we got to call people in to do these transports, and again, that cost. The medical cost, it's went down quite a bit, so we just haven't had a lot of serious patients, I guess, in the jail. And the medical company we're with, anybody that stays in the hospital over 24 hours, even if they're an inmate, they qualify for HIP insurance. So once they qualify for that, that's on the state of Indiana to pay for, which ultimately it's us, but it doesn't come out of the county general budget, it comes out of the state budget. The jail kitchen, spent over $300,000 feeding our inmates, averaging about $2.20 a meal. That'll go down. We signed a contract with the same kitchen company for our commissary, so that'll go down a nickel a meal, so that'll put a dent in that at least. The jail report, they want you to list the programs and services. GED, Lori Dickerson's been coming in since I was a jail officer, I think. She's got a lot of people, a lot of inmates with their GED. I think she's got 5 or 6 people in there right now. Church services, we try to get as much church services as possible. Any minister that wants to come down and give their time to these inmates, we're more than willing for them to come down. Counseling, therapeutic community, things we've been doing forever, and then the IRACS program, that's the new one. We're 4 months into it now, 5 months into it now, and we're hoping that the recidivism rate here in Fayette County, the cut in it is the same, because it's about 20%. That's the rate that they've been seeing in the other 5 counties that had it before in 2022. So it's going good, though. We got a lot of good things coming out of that, and we're getting ready to start groups where the inmates will go in and discuss their addiction problems and work on staying out of jail. Maintenance projects completed last year. There was quite a few of them: ceiling tiles, painting, broken glass. It's always the same stuff: broken glass. The floor gets ate up, and we got to paint that. Door locks, we're starting to get some of those fixed. Jarboe's done a great job on that. And their air handling system, they've paid close attention to that. They've cleaned it, and it seems to be doing okay. Sometimes it's better than others, but they're working on it. So our inmates aren't burning up or freezing to death, so we're not getting lawsuits. Then you get into the unfunded maintenance projects. Again, cell glass doors, we've included pictures. That's what it looks like when an inmate gets mad and punches the window. We've got a lot of those where the windows are cracked. If we know which inmate does it, we usually charge them, and they have to pay for it if they have money. And if their family brings them commissary money down, we take that. The control room floor has to be the original floor when the jail was built. It's in bad shape. I've talked to Wholesale about trying to replace that, but they're not sure how the best way to do it, because they can't find these tiles anymore, because it's, again, it's really old. So, cleaning, we've been sued for mold. It's a constant battle. Again, it's an old jail, so we're constantly scrubbing walls and cleaning the showers, doing what we can to keep the place clean. Air handling system, again, it's doing better, but it probably still needs attention, and Josh could probably speak onto that better than I could. New camera system, hopefully that comes with the upgrade that we got in the new women's center, because the door system, it's not going down as often as it used to. It used to go down 2-3 times a week, where the doors shut down and you don't have access to open doors, which is not good in a jail. So you gotta pull out the old keys and try to figure out which one gets you through which door. It's doing better, but hopefully with the upgrade, that'll fix that. Body scanner, it works good. It could work better. We still get drugs inside of our jail. When people want to put drugs where we're not allowed to dig, it's hard to find them sometimes. The body scanner, you can pick them up most of the time, but sometimes it gets past them and still gets in there. We didn't opt for the dual scanner. We just got the cheaper version because the dual scanner was another $100,000, $200,000. And supposedly they say that shows everything. This one, you gotta know what you're looking for if you are looking for drugs with this body scanner. And, we've caught a lot of stuff coming in, but we have missed things. Our padded cell, it's in bad shape. I was hoping once the people come down for the new place, I could talk to them and see about getting a quote while they're down here to get the padded cell fixed up. As soon as somebody goes in there and they're seeing Smurfs walking around the padded cell, they start picking at it, and they finally get the padding ripped off, and it ends up looking like that picture there. And then our door and intercom system, again, it doesn't go down as much as it used to, but we still got issues with it, and hopefully with the upgrade, all that gets fixed, hopefully this year. It's a quick version. I didn't want to take 50 minutes like somebody else did. I won't name no names, but the quick version, if you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask, or just give me a call and talk about it.
Well, there's a lot here to look at.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Anybody got any quick questions for the sheriff on his report?
Can you stick around a few minutes after?
Yep, I'll be here. We're sleeping.
Okay, thanks, Sheriff.
That's normal, ain't it?
I think that we've got all the department heads that was here today. Okay, anybody got any mail they need to share? County attorney have anything?
I've talked enough today.
Okay. We got any old business we need to take care of? I will remind you, we've got a job description on our table we need to take care of, hopefully within the next 30 days or so. So we'll try to give that some attention next meeting or so. Okay, we've already heard from Jeff Cook and volunteer fire departments requesting for temporary funding.
Chad Grant.
Chad, you want to speak to that?
Yes, I do. Thank you. The three county volunteer fire departments, Everton, Glenwood, and Bentonville, we would like to apply for an AFG grant, Assistance to Firefighter grant, this year, which will actually be towards the middle of this month, will be when the applications need to be submitted. And we are trying again to get some additional emergency communications. This is the communications that will go between the VHF and the 800 radio system that is becoming popular within Fayette County now. This system allows us to have complete interoperability with all of Fayette County's emergency services, whether it be the ambulances, the sheriff's department, city police, Carnesville Fire, the volunteers, EMA, or whoever. This brings pretty much brings a very safe environment, in other words, interoperability to all agencies. And to do this, we are asking the Fayette County Commissioners, and I understand I need to go to the council meeting later today, and ask the same thing, that we be allowed for you guys as commissioners to cover our grant request amount. The grant request amount that we are willing to put in or have figured would be $275,444.38. Being a regional grant, the cost for matching on a regional grant is 10%. That figure would drop down to $27,544.44 for the 10% match for that complete grant. That would be divided by 3 now, because there's 3 volunteer fire departments. That cost would break down to each department, each volunteer department, again, Bentonville, Glenwood, and Everton, out of our personal budgets, we would have to contribute $9,181.48 to that matching fund, which means we would take care of all the matching funds between us 3 departments. But we're just asking if the county would be willing to cover us for the full amount within applying for this until we are awarded or denied in the AFG system, and if awarded until we receive the federal funding for this grant.
Okay. Has the application been made yet?
The application is being completed by Jolisa, the grant writer right now. Each department has specific information as far as federal numbers, SAM, System for Awards Management numbers. Every department has to have a special number on that. Now every volunteer fire department in the federal system has to have what's called a UEI number. It's a special character number within the federal system that says this is Glenwood, this is Everton, this is Bentonville Fire Department. Once all those numbers and our budget, our apparatus fleets, and why we have to include apparatus fleets is your portable allowance, which we're going for portables and mobiles for these vehicles, is per seated riding positions, seated secured riding positions. So if your truck has 5 seats in it and it has 5 seat belts, that allows you to have 5 portable radios because you have 5 occupants in that seat. So everybody has to combine how many drivers, operators, crew member seats and turn that in as well. The mobile radios are allowed 1 per apparatus. So each of the volunteers will have a 800 radio, mobile radio, along with a VHF radio. It allow for that interoperability to whichever channel we may be running on, whether it be VHF, 800, 800 TAC, whatever might be the situation.
Okay.
When will you know whether you've been rewarded, do you know?
To honestly answer that, ma'am, we just received a 2021 grant at the end of last year. We were finally notified of it. So at this point in time, I do not feel comfortable with giving a date of possible award because that's almost 2 years behind it. We just received the end of 2023. So I don't want to say it'll be by the end of 2024. I hope to say by middle of 2025, the end of 2025, we will know this. The grant systems that I have noticed and I have been forwarded the information is if there is no emergencies within the federal system, meaning hurricanes, tsunamis, unfortunately like 9/11, things like that, that puts a halt to all AFG programs. When that happens, those people are stopped on that. They work on the emergency, whatever the disaster may be. When that is brought under control and being managed properly, then they will get back into these grants. So we could all pray that nothing major happens this year, but lately we have hurricanes, tornadoes about every year, which does put a little bit of delay in there. And I have all the paperwork right here with the numbers on it. Jane would like those actual numbers and everything.
And what does AFG stand for?
Assistance to Firefighter Grant Program.
Okay.
And the AFG is for apparatus, equipment, PPE, etc. And then they have several other programs which are broke down into like it's called a SAFER grant. So there is separate federal fundings, but this one is just for the Assistant to Firefighter grant for the communications.
Okay, well, you know, the only thing we can do is recommend to the council for you on this.
And the way I understand it is I need to go to the council meeting this evening and present this exact thing to the council, am I correct?
I would think so, you know. Since they only meet once a month, tonight's your best chance to catch them. For
Yes, and I had planned on going this evening
They're on the
because like I
agenda.
said, this Friday at 5 p.m. is the grant deadline. So this meeting was like our final chance to come, but we couldn't come present this information until we got all the quotes in and come up with the actual numbers. Because until we got those quotes, these figures were extremely elevated, which was a little on the nerve-wracking side, but since we got everything together, we've kind of calmed down and been able to come up with the actual numbers we needed to present.
So if I might say something, so for AFG, the 2023 grant year, those were typically, or I'm sorry, the 2022 year was typically awarded in September of 2023. So around September of 2023, you'll get notice of any grant you apply for AFG. Then for 2024 grants, you'll get notified next September.
Yeah, it's like he just said, and kind of like I said, when you said deadline, they're actually running a year plus behind. So this is actually, without getting you confused, we're applying for the 2023 grant season, but this is a 24 application process. It gets really confusing. We know what we're doing. Jaleesa knows. You got to be into this and kind of understand how the government works. Does that make sense?
Being a government that you are.
Yeah.
Well, you know there's not always exact time periods on anything.
Yeah. Well, we do the best we can, Chad, but
I know.
things don't always go the way.
You're exactly right. So, you know, we try to keep up, and we get confused sometimes and call things the wrong year and everything else, but some of us try to keep track of everything.
Okay, well, you can expect that, you know, if in considering your request, the council will no doubt ask for some things to, you know, protect the county's interests, that sort of things, and that little bit of extra paperwork for you guys. Letters of commitment, such as that. But like I said, the only thing we can do is recommend that they give you favorable consideration.
One thing that is nice about these grants is Everton Fire is applying for a separate grant as well, as far as ourselves, plus this regional grant, which is allowed. But every department has to go in, and what they do, you have to agree to what's called assurances and certifications. And it's all the federal guidelines and breakdowns that each department has to agree to. So if you agree to those and do not follow those, then you have lost your federal funding. So in the actual grant process, there's a lot of verifications and signing your name and initials to several assurances and certifications that you are willing to meet. Just some additional kind of assurance to what you just brought up, sir.
So the way I'm understanding this is you're asking for this, it's like $27,544.44 to help for the matching part to apply for a grant. And then you may or may not get rewarded. So then what about that? What is the plan for that money then if you do not get rewarded?
If you're not awarded the grant, then there is no money spent. The only application process grant is like if Jaleesa is writing it, I have a grant writer, Glenra has a grant writer, you have to pay your own fees for that. But up to the point where we get a denial or approval, there's absolutely zero money spent.
Okay.
They're not asking for match money, they want the 200 and some thousand as a loan. interest
You're
refund.
asking for the whole thing as a loan?
Until we get reimbursed.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they've got their own match money.
That's what I missed.
Yeah, each department had to go to our boards and ask for the allowance of the $9,141.48, which our boards have guaranteed that money is there, which will be each department's match money coming up to the $27,544.44, which the federal government will require us to pay back in that 10% match, since this is a regional grant. Am I saying that correctly? Here's the, this is an extra copy I brought for you, all the exact numbers on it, if that makes things simpler.
So then the handling, the administrative handling of everything would be through Jaleesa?
Yes, she would, because Jaleesa has the same entity, and everything now has to go through the System for Awards Management, which will go into an account that she establishes. The money would be distributed out of that account, and then the 3 fire departments would give her our matching funds to present back to the federal government for the 10% match.
Basically, the bidding process and all that would be something we have to go through also with your
Yeah,
equipment.
if we are awarded, you, other than getting your basic information together on what you're going to be requesting, you cannot buy, do anything until you're awarded. Once you're awarded the grant, you will go in and accept it. Then there's called a period of performance. That first period of performance allows you to actually go out and get your bids, decide which bid you want to go with, actually then submit the bid in the performance report and say, we have chosen to go with this amount, with this many. You have to break the items down, radios, portables, charger, da-da. Once that's done, you submit that, then they give you approval back from that performance report and say, now you may use this money, and it comes up in another section of the what's called the FEMA Go grant process, where you can request that funding. So we would go in and request not the $274,000. We would go in and request minus that $27,000 minus that. That would be what we can spend. Am I making sense on that? The full grant was at 27.
275.
275, so minus the 27,000, which is a 10%, is what we would be granted. Now, if we go in and spend more than our matching fund, it's just like if you guys spent more, the government says, whew, thank you. So you can exceed that, but it has to come out of your money, if that makes sense. But we have to meet that minimum match. So the funding we get plus our match would be the total of the grant. But you have to do period of performance, and it has to be, each step has to be approved from the federal government before you can move on to the next one. So if you went out and bought something now, you cannot take the purchase price of that and include it in that grant. You cannot do anything with that grant's in process.
I texted you the part of Jaleesa's email regarding this.
And I dropped all that information off to Lease as well yesterday.
I can't make a motion either way, so.
Trying to read all that.
How you want to do it.
Should it just be read? What our expectations would be on that?
Was that we've got here in this text is, I think, good advice. And really, this decision has to be made by council. It can't be made by us. The only thing we can do is forward a recommendation. So, the question is, do you want to recommend it or not?
Yeah, I think we need it. I mean, we need it in our county, so I would say yes.
This is a very, very similar situation as to what we've done pertaining to the Glenwood Water Project.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Same principle, different set of circumstances. So,
Okay, so we'll make that, we would support you all. I would say, pending the grant approval, we would be giving this $275,444.38. Of course, it's contingent upon county council agreeing with that. And it would be our recommendation that our volunteer fire departments need these radios, and that we would hope that we get the grant, so it would come together and work out pretty good. Of course, we would also
whatever I find out this evening at the council, it'll correlate with this meeting, so everything will be together in the right documentation.
And then the oversight of it all would be with Jaleesa,
Yes.
is our understanding.
Jaleesa will be the
Right.
actual person that hits the
That's
submit
good.
button, yes.
okay, was that a motion?
That was a long motion,
Okay.
yes.
Since Dale is a volunteer fireman, he has
I can't do anything.
to abstain from this thing. I'll second your motion. We have a motion by Tracy, seconded by me to send a favorable recommendation to county council for the request of loan funds for the volunteer fire department's grant applications. Any further questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
2 ayes and 1 abstention. There you go, Chad.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next on our agenda, we have the annual cemetery mowing contract. And do we have that? You have that in your stack?
Did not reorder it, I'm sorry.
Okay, if I remember, I think it was $23,000. I think. The last time we awarded this contract, gave Jay McAtee an option to extend it for a year if he wanted to, and he's exercising that option.
It's 22.
22? Okay, 22,000. And he does a good job. So if we want to keep him for this mowing season, the season opens April 1st. We do it now, we're ahead of the grass.
I'll move to approve the contract.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve the extension of the 2023 mowing contract for Jay McAtee through the 2024 mowing season. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
3 ayes. Now we're down to patron concerns finally. Who wants to go first here?
I want to go first. I would. I have a complaint I want to file or talk to you about Bill MacDaniel. I got some stuff I'd like to present to you. I filed a formal complaint on 501 Maple, 8/18/22. Here's the property card that goes with that complaint, showing that it's a residential property. And there's a business next door using it as a business property. They're towing, storage, and using it for multiple purposes.
Yeah, Sandy doesn't need address for the record.
I live next door to that property. The other property is 1020 Myers Avenue. Braden Parker owns it. It used to be Alpine Entertainment, Earl Grill. It did. And it was only zoned for storage. And now he's doing auto mechanic out of one end, motorcycle shop out of the other end. They're there at any hours they want, and late in the night. Here's the property sheet showing what it's zoned for. I talked to Bill MacDaniel. I talked to Nick Brown several times. Nick come up, said he took care of the problem. He didn't, because I live right next door. I've lived there 68 years, come March 14th. I have. None of this has been issued. Bill's ignored it. Here's a picture of the 501 Maple Street. This is 1020 Myers. This is 501 Maple. Okay, this is one he's using his business and using his business. I draw this to simulate the property line, and I wrote that information down there. It's kind of hard to see, but see all the tires and all the scrap and junk. That's one of the pictures. My property is to the north of that. Starting with this round, this property here is mine, going to the north. Okay. Here's another picture. This is what I look at all the time. Here's the end of his property, Myers Avenue. That's behind Joanne Borders. I'm not the only one that's dissatisfied with this. Joanne is also, and several others. Here's another picture. Here's my property, starting right here, about a foot on the other side of this pole. It's labeled Bells. There's the 501 Maple. That avenue he's got there, but he's got a bunch of cars stored in the back, leaking fluids. I've tried to talk to him several times. He had gravel thrown in last week, and he had spread from over onto my property. And I looked yesterday because I was at my garage, and he pulled up on my property to back a trailer into that 1020 Myers Avenue. That was never zoned for mechanic work. It wasn't. Can you go and get a zoning permit like I have a home occupation, and then once I get it, and the description, and then I can just turn around and say, well, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that? It's zoned for specific reasons. Bill MacDaniel only lives about a half mile from there on Richard Drive. How would he like to have that, or you, Dale, up on Iowa, that next door to you with all these tires? Last year, Nick Brown came up there about 4 or 5 times. Finally, Braden Parker hauled off oversized truckload of tires that he had hit. The mosquitoes hatched out by thousands. We couldn't even set out for them trying to eat us up. You know, that's a health hazard. And it brings in all these other critters like possums and rats and everything else. Nobody seems to want to do nothing, and why Bill MacDaniel didn't enforce his very own code of not operating a business on residential properties beyond me. Brian Chapman owns it. Brandon Parker uses it at will. Okay, they keep running over my property. That's the reason I put that big boulder there and that post. My property's marked beware of dog and no trespassing, because I got an enclosed electric fence and I got a mountain curve. He runs the whole property. Okay. Now he's made tracks in my yard, and when I mow, I'm getting up in age too. It beats me bad running over them things. I called the police. That is in an intersection of a one-way street. His clients come down Maple Street. There's a stop sign at 6th and Maple, and the stop sign at the other end of 6th and Maple, and then a stop sign coming over 6th Street Hill. You know where I live, Dale. Okay, they disregard the one-way street, which is where it's right here, and go right on down it, never slow him down. His wife, his clients. I told him before, I said, there's children comes down that hill on bicycles. I called the police to report it. They said they did put patrol on it. They didn't. They didn't do a thing. They didn't come up. I don't know if this man knows somebody or somebody whatever, but I don't care. The law and codes enforced for everybody. They do. nothing's being done. If this ain't a cease and desist order or a injunction put against him in that lot cleared off within a proper period of time, I'm going to seek the news channel to find out if they can find out why, and then talk to the Attorney General. If you guys allow this to conform, then you'll be aware of it also. You're his boss. He should have had that cleaned up by now. I'm not going to put up with another summer of mosquitoes and these tires and all this. And it devalues my property and Joanne Border's property. And he just keeps on. I tried to talk to him, you know, and he's, oh, I'm going to do this, Mike, I'm doing it, but he don't do anything. He's just like, well, I'm going to do what I want to do. You know?
Hey, Mike, could you, for the record, just because she puts in the minutes, could you state your name and your address, please?
Michael W. Bell, 1020 West 6th Street, Connersville, Indiana.
Get that, Jane?
West 6th.
Yep.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. But, you know, that should have been stopped. If I was running a business on residential property, they'd been to me within a week and shut me down. He's been doing this since he moved in. Like I say...
So let me ask one thing. Are you in the city limits?
Yes.
Okay. Because sometimes people get confused with it's not a zoning issue, it's a nuisance issue, okay? Some of this sounds like a nuisance issue. Have you talked to the ordinance enforcer in the city of
Nick Brown last
Brownsville?
year, I talked to him several times. I tried to get around, hold Randy Wolf, and I hadn't been able to get a hold of him. But this is a zoning issue because 501 Maple...
You're saying they're not using it in the same use as it's legally allowed to use?
Right. Not only that, but there's a zoning issue because 501 Maple is a residential lot. Okay, they're using it as a commercial business lot.
It gets tricky when you say commercial business. It gets tricky when a guy's working on vehicles, okay?
Okay, he's got 15 or 20 stored vehicles on that property, and he advertises as Parker's Towing and everything, and that's what he's using the lot for, okay? Okay.
Yeah.
If that's not against code violation, I don't know.
Well, I think probably
Very
we should probably
simple
need
to
to have
me.
discussions with Bill McDaniel, I think, at this point.
I have talked to Bill McDaniel, and he's very aware. He's the one, and Nick Brown talked to him, and because Parker told Brown that it was business lot, and it's not. Okay, they was zoned for that. So Nick Brown went to McDaniel, and McDaniel told him, no, it's a residential lot. He can't be doing that, but yet Bill didn't do anything about it. Bill lives about a half mile by me on Richard Drive. All you have to do is come up Country Club to Meyer Avenue, turn left on Maple Street, come up about a block and a half, look to the left, and you'll see what I see all the time. Okay. Zach knows where I live. Zach's parents are probably not liking it so much. It's right behind his parents to the south about half the block. Okay. It's horrible. It is. Anybody want that around them, you come up by there at the corner of 6th and Maple and look to the southwest and see what you see. If something's not done, like a stop and desist order or something within a couple of weeks, I'm going to hire a lawyer myself and see about suing the commissioners and the city for not following their own ordinances and their zoning ordinances. Now,
okay.
and what's been done about this, it should have been taken care of. And you know it as well as I know. Look at those pictures. They're horrible. You're farmers. Would you like it? Not you? That's in the city limits right there that we have to put up with.
Now that
He's condescending to me. Like, oh, I'm going to do it, Mike, but he's saying to me, I'm not doing nothing. He told Joanne Borders he wasn't going to do nothing. He did.
Hasn't there been a number of businesses in that one building over the years?
Well, it started out with Earl Grohl doing Alpine amusements, storing arcade games and pool tables. He done it for years and years. And then there came in a shoe store, a second place shoe. They'd ship them in, but it's all working on the inside all the time. He's all the time outside with these cars, revving them up, working on them. You know, he put a garage door in the end of the building, and he uses the lot next to it, which is Brian Chapman's, which is a residential R1 zone. He uses it for storing the vehicles on and moving them back and forth and doing the towing on. But they all come down Maple Street is two-way till it gets to 6th Street, and then it goes one way. And it's one way from south to north, and they just go right on down, don't even stop, right into his business. They do. And the motorcycle shop's on the other end. Well, they have group meetings. I don't know what they was chanting one night, about 10 o'clock at night, had a big bonfire. I thought, I don't care what you chant as long as you stay on your own property. But they work on motorcycles and store them. This is zoned for storage use only, as far as I'm concerned. That's what it says.
Yeah, I don't know what the current zoning.
Well, I've got it highlighted. I do.
Okay, this one lot is R1 single family residence.
Yeah, that's the 501 Maple they're using as a business. And that other one is the Meyer Avenue address, which is zoned for storage and utility inside.
Does the county attorney have any advice for us on this matter?
Well, I mean, I think we need to talk to Bill and find out why Bill's
Not acted on it, not done nothing.
Let's just find out what
He's
Bill's.
not doing his, he's not doing what he should be doing, and what he's paid to be doing. He's over this, and if they're in violation of the code, he's supposed to enforce it, correct?
Well, he's got discretion to enforce it.
Well, okay, somebody better be enforcing all
But
that.
but that's not the way it
Or
works.
I'm going to go another step further.
I understand, but I'm just saying he does have discretion to use it.
Mike, does the city's, wouldn't the city's ordinance enforcement officer have jurisdiction in this also?
He would for all this, but Bill made it clear to me, he was not to have any metals out or scrap or tires or anything like that. It's a health hazard, okay? He was supposed to enforce it, to have this guy stop and desist this, and didn't do it. And then Nick Brown kept coming up there and kept calling me on the phone, Mike, I've got to take care of it. I said, Nick, I can see the tires from here. He had over 100 some tires, you know. And yeah, on the business part, on the 1020 Myers Avenue, that would be an ordinance. That would for city. Also, on the 501 Maple, which is single family zoned, that would be an ordinance too, but Bill MacDaniel should have stopped it from being used as a business lot. The house has been tore down. It used to be Randy Hamilton lived there. Okay, it's been tore down. Brian Chapman owned it. He tried to sell it to me, but I got too much property up there to mow now. So I said, I don't want it. But then he let this guy, Braden Parker, which brought that building, come in there and just start storing his cars he's working on and junk trucks and all that you can see in the picture, and tires just laying out. Them's right there by the street, Dale. They are. They're not like they're 100 foot off the
Are
property.
these vehicles properly plated? You keep calling them junk truck cars. Are they properly plated?
I don't know if they're properly plated or not.
Well, if they're not properly plated and they're visible from the roadway, then they're illegal.
Well, they're illegal anyhow because they're parked on private property. If I had a 15 or 20 cars sitting on my property, whether it's plated or not, it'd still be illegal, wouldn't it?
Depends.
And they don't know what depends on about it. Okay, these zoning the zoning rules are clear, okay? And they can tell you how many vehicles you can have on your property and what you can use your property for. You can't be using them for trade purpose like businesses, and these plainly use that for business, yes.
Well, I mean,
You're not using them for R1 residential, I'll tell you that.
I think the commissioners need to have a talk with Bill and find out what the
Somebody better be
situation is.
having a talk with him, he better be getting something done. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not gonna put up with it.
Well, I can tell you, your 2-week thing is incredibly impossible.
Well,
Because
I'm not
you
talking about 2
you
weeks,
can't-
I'm talking about, I better be hearing something positive, something being done. I'm not gonna have that double talk like Bill's done me 2 or 3 times, or Nick Brown, I'm not, okay? It don't matter if you guys do anything or not. I'll talk to the attorney general myself, and I'll talk to a lawyer that, somebody's over you guys, aren't they, the state of Indiana?
It's a yes and no
Yeah.
thing.
Okay. I mean, I want you guys to handle it, and I won't be satisfied. I don't want to put nobody out, but I don't want to be put out no more. All right?
I think right now, Mike, the only thing we can, or the only thing I can promise you is that we'll certainly pass this information on to Mr. McDaniel. and ask him for an explanation.
Yeah, they better be cleaning that lot up, that's all I know.
Yeah.
All right, you guys have a wonderful day.
Okay, Mike.
I'm sorry about all that, but I got a little excited.
Well,
I didn't know these meetings was gonna last as long for one thing. It's wore me out sitting down here.
I'm sorry you had to sit here all this time. We never know how long they're gonna last
I
when we
know,
start
you know,
in.
got way more patience than I got.
Yeah. The young lady back there behind you, Mike, ma'am, do you need? Okay. Is there any other patron concerns?
You know, I do anything about him running on
All
the
that
lot.
leaves for us is claims and payrolls. And we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy, to approve claims and payroll. And all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Oh, we forgot something too. We had planned to, we didn't talk about this, but it's probably better sooner than later to make some sort of decision, or we can at least discuss it, about the solar eclipse and closing of the courthouse on that day.
That had kind of slipped my mind.
I should have brought that up too and forgot it.
I had it on a sticky note. I was gonna, just saw it and.
Well, I can tell you this much. I know that the schools are closing. Our library is closing. And I don't know what else may be closed.
I think city offices.
City city's closing their offices as well. Some of the parks employees will be working the event, so. But yeah, pretty much everything around us is closing down. So it's up to commissioners what they want to do.
Okay. What do you want to do? You want to make work on that day optional, or do you want to just declare the eclipse holiday?
And then eclipse from the inside of the courthouse. Yeah.
I'll move to close it.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to declare the courthouse closed on April 8th for the solar eclipse. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Oh, you got a question?
And Dale, you know I won't have a person down there at the garage, you do this.
I think I know that.
Okay, I'm just letting you know.
Well, so we won't have anybody to go around and pick up trash that day. They can do that.
Evidently, yeah.
Do it the next
Should
day.
give us a break.
Yeah. Okay.
Do we need that just to add all county offices, all county employees?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
well,
amend it to all county employees.
Well, except for, well, I guess we gotta make the sheriff people
Well,
work.
Sheriff has to work.
I mean,
I'll be
they're-
working too, so.
Okay, I was
Then
gonna
they don't
say.
have a choice.
Yeah, okay, I'll second that.
It's like us, a unit. We
Yeah.
don't have a choice.
Yeah, you do that.
okay. What are we doing now?
We're doing claims and payroll.
No, you're not done with the eclipse yet.
Oh, okay.
All county employees, other than the sheriff and Wade.
Okay. Can you,
Yes.
What do we do?
yeah.
All county employees, except for the sheriff and emergency management, are
Okay.
off and the courthouse is closed.
And 911 and community corrections, and none of the 24/7s can take off that day.
Yeah, you just need to say,
Public safety.
if you just need to say the courthouse is closed, and then what other department you want to close? Highway department? So just say courthouse and highway department.
All the non-essential employees.
There you go.
There we go.
That was gonna be
Back to the, yeah, the era.
the next thing. Non-essential employees.
What is it, non-essential?
All non-essential locations for the solar eclipse. Okay.
Now, Jane, since you are the official keeper of record here, could you read back what the actual motion is on the floor right now?
Hang on. So I just reworded it. Commissioner Munson moved to close all non-essential locations on April 8th due to the solar eclipse. Commissioner Cooper seconded it. Motion carried.
Okay. You say the motion carried?
No, I said Commissioner Beaver seconded it. I'm waiting for it to carry.
Okay. So now,
Sheriff.
Move to close.
I just walked in from that. So the courthouse is gonna be closed?
Yes.
So does that mean that the the personnel gets the overtime, because that's how it used to be?
see, I knew.
I'm just curious.
You just
I mean, we
made
can't enjoy
Dale.
I can't enjoy the,
Look, he's got to loosen his shirt collar, what you just
That's
made
not
him do.
that's just the way the handbook used to say. I don't know if it still does or not. Whenever the courthouse is closed, the jail officers, 911, everybody gets
I think that was due, wasn't that for
snow closings and stuff.
emergencies? I think that was in emergency situations.
But it's, it was in the handbook that anytime the courthouse is closed, the essential personnel, because I'll send my non-essential staff home, but I still got 7 or 8 people that'll be working, just for those hours too. The courthouse is closed, so day shift basically gets overtime. That's the way the handbook used to say.
Well, you realize this will be an opportunity for us to do an actual head count on that day, and anybody that's not essential might have a hard time explaining their presence. the
Well,
next
May better
day.
be there.
I'm there regardless.
Yeah.
I just didn't know if the handbook said that still.
I think there is language in the handbook.
Yeah.
There's not
The problem is it says for emergency closings.
for emergencies.
The way it is, that's the section's even titled emergency closing. So
That-
periodic closing such as severe weather or power failures is kind of how it's addressed.
Okay. That's what I thought it said. The language you're referring is for emergency situations.
And it used to be if you closed the courthouse that they got time and a half automatically, but no, that was changed in the most recent revision of the handbook.
Okay.
Oh, it was?
But now, since this is something unusual, y'all can make them, I mean, that could be part of your motion as the special.
It could be an emergency
closing.
in the sense that it's going to be, we're going to have a ton of people here.
It's definitely an extenuating circumstance.
Yeah, I mean, so to me, you can address that, because it's not covered in the handbook, so you can cover it in your motion.
They're gonna have their hands full.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
sounds like it.
And they're gonna miss out on just, being out, enjoying it all.
With your families.
Unless it's a cloudy day.
That changes everything. Then it's easy.
That's somewhere Dale's gonna be really upset if it's a cloudy day and this doesn't. He's gonna think I closed the courthouse for this.
Maybe you want to stipulate that in your motion, if it's a cloudy day, deal's off.
I'll amend it, add that they get overtime if they're forced to work,
The essentials.
however, the essential.
Okay, so Commissioner Munson moved to close all non-essential county locations on April 8th due to the solar eclipse and pay overtime to those employees who are forced to work.
Yeah.
That's your wording?
That
Okay.
sound right?
I like it.
And I
Still second that,
yeah.
okay. So now, Dale, you get to vote on that.
You realize how much money you just cost the county?
Yep. But they're all happy and they'll be at work.
Yeah.
And we don't have to go guard the jail.
And they deserve it.
All in favor signify by saying aye before this gets any worse.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 3 ayes, Jamie. Mercy sakes. Would you like to do claims and payroll?
Sure. I'll move to pay claims and payroll.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to approve claims and payroll. All in favor?
Aye.
3 ayes. Let's get this taken care
And much more we're gonna have to hold it up.
of. Is that something for us to do?
Well,
This is the lease with chairs for Kelly. Chair Lease for Kelly.
Oh,
Only one signature is needed for it.
concludes our agenda. Are we forgetting anything?
I just got one question for Jay. Have you heard anything from Stoops on Lease?
Yeah.
They were down Monday, got all the specs on the trucks, they'll have it back by the next meeting. They gotta get it all figured out and then go get with the other guy on it. And a back date.
Sounds good. That's all I got.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Dale, second by Tracy to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you all very much.